I am Anna. I'm 17. I live in San Francisco, and I got into a very unpleasant story. I've done something that now I don't know how to fix it. And is it possible? And it all started because of a guy. Ethan is the name of the handsome guy that almost all of my classmates run after. His name is included in the wish list of every self-respecting graduate. About people like him, they say, golden youth, and here without exaggeration. From a wealthy family with a very famous pedigree. Handsome, smart, with a wonderful sense of humor, his pluses can be listed endlessly. And I dreamed about him from the 5th grade. Then we almost collided head-on in the corridor. And the textbooks that I carried in my hands scattered in different directions. Ethan quickly collected everything and returned it to me. And he also smiled very sweetly. And that's it, I'm gone. 3 years have passed since then, but my feelings for him are only getting stronger. All this time, I sighed hopelessly on the sidelines. Ethan will never turn his attention to people like me. After all, people like me are a herd around Ethan all the time. How to attract him? Recently, I was attracted to YouTube by an advertisement for the training How to Make Him Fulfill My Desires. The girl spoke so confidently about it that I decided to take a chance. Soon, we will finish school. We will all part ways, and I may never see Ethan again. So, with the money given to me for my birthday, I bought full access to the training. The first task was pretty easy for me. I had to answer a series of questions related to my victim. That was the guy called who had to be hooked up. And I had a whole dossier on Ethan. Therefore, questions like favorite dish, home address, what computer game does he play on weekends were super easy. My mentor, a very beautiful young girl, Lilibet, was constantly in touch and sincerely supported. Well done, Anna! Now we need to find a way to get closer to Ethan, so that you constantly flashed before his eyes, but unobtrusively. Knowing that Ethan was on the high school football team, I signed up for the cheerleading squad. Who else but cheerleaders are present at every training session of football players? And so it happened. Now 3 times a week, and sometimes on weekends, Ethan was constantly in my field of vision. In a couple of weeks, I had to start getting closer. Lilibet called this the first contact, which for the victim should happen as if by chance. After training, I sat in the hallway playing Ethan's favorite mobile game on my phone. Seeing out of the corner of my eye that the guy was leaving, I turned up the volume on the phone.
I didn't know girls played that game. I like her too.
Ethan smiled at me again, the same way he had 3 years ago. I was a little confused, but I nodded to him anyway. And for 3 hours, we played a mobile game together. This is your first small but precise victory, Anna. Lilibet praised me when I shared the news with her in the evening. After the game, we sat down at a cafe nearby, and I hit the jackpot again by ordering Ethan's favorite salad. We sat in the cafe until the evening. Ethan chatted me on all sorts of topics, wondering how much we have in common with him, and I just knew all the right answers. The next week passed like a dream. Ethan and I spent more and more time together. Every day, I pulled a new trump card out of my sleeve. I brought a couple of pieces of coconut pie to training, and after treating Ethan, I received a compliment in return. It turned out to be his favorite cake, and mine turned out exactly like his grandmother bakes. If only Ethan knew how much time I spent in the bushes with binoculars watching his grandma bake that pie. And then, as if by chance, I remembered that in the evening, I watched another American football match. And the San Francisco 49ers were as good as ever. Ethan jumped on the spot like a child.
Do you watch football? Are you rooting for the 49ers? Incredible! This is my favorite team too.
Certainly. I spent a couple of evenings cramming the list of the players of this team, and the reviews of their games are worn out to holes. By the end of the week, Ethan was convinced that I was the girl of his dreams. He was waiting for me after lessons near the class, went with me to training, and escorted me home in the evening. When he gently grabbed my hand in farewell and touched my temple with his lips, I almost fainted. Finally, my dream is coming true. But according to the rules of the marathon, I have to behave detached. Smile, keep up the conversation, but do not take the initiative. Lilibet, I really want to hug him, grab his hand, and stop looking for the right answers. I told Lilibet in the Zoom about the past day. This will be the biggest mistake. It's too early. Now he needs a cold shower. Do you remember what it is? And Lilibet looked at me meaningfully through the Zoom window. Of course I knew what that meant. In the materials of the marathon, this was a turning point. I had to show that guy that he means nothing to me. To bind Ethan even more to me. It sounded crazy. But as Lilibet assured, it works. I needed to disappear. And absolutely ignore Ethan's calls and texts. A few days and he must understand that he cannot live without me. For final instructions, we met with Lilibet at a coffee shop near my house. It turned out she was passing through San Francisco, so we met up. I arranged everything. You'll be out of town for 3 days. She handed me the keys to the room. It turned out to be a small boarding house in the wilderness. Wildlife, lake, birds, complete relaxation. I told my parents that I would stay with a friend for 3 days. Lilibet blocked Ethan's number on my mobile, closed my account and all social networks. No communication with Ethan, otherwise you'll ruin everything. I exhaled and went to the boarding house. There I walked all day, read, relaxed. I did not see other guests. The receptionist was always there, but he never disturbed me. In the evening, I went out on the terrace to admire the stars.
Good evening.
A soft voice came from behind. It turned out that not only I decided to go out for a breath of fresh air, Benjamin checked into the boarding house the day before yesterday. That was the guy's name. And it's not the first time he's been here. Sometimes he comes for a couple of days to relax. Studying at a medical university is very difficult, especially if you are from a family of famous surgeons. We sat with Benjamin for coffee until late in the evening. It was so easy with him. I didn't have to think what to answer, how to look. It was not necessary to keep in mind the entire list of instructions from Lilibet. It was just me. We laughed, gave funny names to the stars, shared our dreams. At night, already falling asleep, I realized that I hadn't thought about Ethan even once during the evening. It's funny. Benjamin and I also spent the next day together. Without saying a word, we met for breakfast. Then we walked to the lake. He spent the whole day lying on the sunbeds. First, we threw pebbles into the water. Then, we read each to our own. It turned out that it's even comfortable to be silent with Benji. And in the evening, near the reception, I noticed 2 suitcases. And Benji, are you leaving?
I have to. I can't cancel the study, but it was very cool here with you. I didn't think that I would meet you. So I left my contacts at the reception. And he handed me a small envelope. A few minutes later, a taxi pulled up to the boarding house. Benjamin winked goodbye and drove away. I hid the envelope in my purse. I will definitely write to him as soon as I figure out my personal life. I tossed and turned in bed all night. I decided that I wanted to end this game. I want to be myself. I don't want to fit in with a guy. Early in the morning, leaving the boarding house, I rushed home. I'll call Lilibet now. I will say that I did not cope. But Lilibet's phone was silent. Without thinking twice, I dialed Ethan. Silence. Yes, what is it? Okay, practice today. See you there. I was waiting for Ethan outside the school. I prepared a whole speech. Now he will obviously be offended and will bombard me with questions. Where have I been? Why was it impossible to get through to me? Here's Ethan, and with him, Lilibet. What? What does it mean? When they saw me, they stopped. Lilibet whispered something to Ethan, but Ethan didn't react. Now I'll figure it out. But as soon as I opened my mouth, Ethan raised his hand in warning. Don't, Anna. I saw the photo. You and him look great together. But why are you doing this to me? I didn't offend you. On the contrary, I thought we… Ethan, dear, we have to go. We have tickets to the VIP box, remember? And firmly grabbing Ethan by the elbow, Lilibet dragged him to the car. Trying to come to my senses, I wandered around the city until night. Lilibet used me. Both the boarding house and Benjamin were all set up. There on the terrace we looked like a couple. And this marathon? Tasks? Was it all fake too? Hello, Anna. I automatically reached my house, and there Lilibet was waiting for me. Listen, don't be offended. Yes, I liked Ethan. When I rummaged through the internet and realized what family he was from. And then you have a complete dossier on him. With such information, it was very easy to drive up to the guy and fall in love with yourself. And I wanted an easy, carefree, and rich life, you know? Run away now from here and not see this nasty, arrogant face.
Let's make a deal. You liked Benji, didn't you? I filmed you in the boarding house, and I saw there was chemistry between you. Take it for yourself. We've been working with him for a long time. The guy is not bad.
Get out of here! And quickly slipping past the surprised girl, I ran into the house. I didn't sleep all night. This marathon was a mistake. I decided to force a person to fall in love with me by manipulating him. That's what I got in response to slap in the face. I'm very embarrassed. Until the end of the school year, I tried not to cross paths with Ethan. I saw them a couple of times with Lilybeth, but then she disappeared too. Now it's summer. Through friends, I learned that Ethan did not work out with Lilybeth, and now he is fully focused on his future studies at the university. And I just try to forget this story. In a relationship, you have to be honest. I learned that. Here's my advice to you. Do not lie. Do not invent anything. Just be yourself. And then everything will definitely work out for you. And finally, I have in my hands the same envelope from Benji. I don't know what's inside. Maybe it's empty, or maybe there really are his contacts. Open it up? Write in the comments, yes or no. What do you think?